Okay, hey everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to FabFit Friday. I'm so excited. I have fun stuff to share with you today. Plus, I have the next set of giveaways to share with you as well. So this is going to be a fun FabFit Friday. Hi Diane, welcome. Let me just bring over my girl. All right, so I've got my girl here. All right, I want to put her right here. All right. Oh, we have Diane and Diane. Thank you, Diane. Hi, Darlene. Welcome. From West Hartford. Oh, we're practically neighbors. Super exciting. All right. Hey, Julie. Welcome. Happy Friday. Oh, I'm so excited to see you guys joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Today, hi, Mary. Welcome. Today I'm going to show you a tale of two collars. I'm working on samples for my shirt jacket pattern. Hi Sally, welcome. So I thought I would just show how to interface two different kinds of fabric for two different kinds of collars. Plus I'm going to be announcing this week's, or actually next week's, giveaways for my 25,000 subscriber celebration. This has been so much fun. I really, really love it when I have stuff to give away, and I've really been enjoying myself. So I hope you guys are enjoying too. Today, this week, hey Pat, welcome. All right, so this week coming up, we have two giveaways, and I'm really, really excited about them because these giveaways are something every sewer needs. And really, whether you have one or not, I always think you can never have too many of these because stuff happens. So I'm going to share with you the giveaways for week 3. And to enter this giveaway, you are going to comment about what you would use it for, and you're going to go and follow Facebook and Instagram pages for the sponsor. I haven't been adding joining my Facebook group to the pile of requirements, but if you guys are watching and you're not a member of my J Stern Designs Fit Sew Embroider group, you might want to consider joining that because that's where I try to do my advanced notifications and my little sneak peeks and other things. So let me just say hi. Welcome. Alaya, you are not late. I hope I'm not killing your name. Welcome. Hi, Linda Lee. Hi, Pat. Welcome, everybody. All right, so you can see I've got my girl here with my shirt jacket on it. I'm going to show you how to do a collar for that. But before we do, I'm going to announce the two giveaways. All right, so this is super exciting. So giveaway number 1 is going to be the mini iron from Oliso Irons. This iron is so stinking cute, and it's so practical because it's tiny. The one thing that's not tiny about this iron is the power cord. To plug it in, it's really long. So if you take this iron to a class and you have to plug in, and usually when you go to classes there's a premium on outlets, you have a long cord to plug it into the wall. I'm going to switch my view here. Okay, so, oh, that's not attractive. Let me just get this going here. A little bit bigger. You can see I've got all sorts of fun stuff to show you on my table. Okay, so let me just get my pressing surface here, just to make it look a little bit more official. Oops, what happened? Okay, so, what happened? Uh-oh. Well, that's... Wow, I somehow deleted my F3. Um, oh my gosh, I hit my mouse with the ironing surface and I lost my F3. Um, okay. All right, there we go. All right, so I have it back. I apologize for that. That was kind of a mess. Um, all right, so my mouse needs to stay out of trouble here. Yes, I know, Mary. I hit my mouse and it deleted my table shot off of my OBS, but I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to put my mouse in a safe spot so that doesn't happen again. All right, so as I was saying, the Oliso Mini Iron is going to be the first giveaway um, for next week. The cool thing about this iron is there is a port that's hidden over here to add water, okay, and then you can press these buttons for steam, and it's got a really nice sole plate with little steam vents, um, and it's got 3 different temperature settings on it, so it's almost a full-featured iron in a compact size. So this is really good for taking to class, or if you're working on something where you just need to press little things. One of the things I love about this iron is when you're done with it, oh, I'm sorry, while you're using it, the sole plate acts as a iron rest so you don't burn your pressing surface, so you can put it right on there. After your iron is cool, you can flip it over, tuck the tip into the holder, and cover the complete sole plate like this, and then you can hang it up from this little loop right here, and you can also wrap the cord around to make it nice and tidy. So this is a very cool giveaway from Oliso Irons. I'm very, very excited about this. So that is giveaway number 1 for next week. Giveaway number 2 is just as exciting. It's actually the full-size TG 1600 Pro Plus iron. Now this iron is completely Jennifer proof because if you put it down, the little feet pop up so you're not scorching your surface. In addition to the iron, you are going to get an Oliso ironing board cover. So I'm super excited to be offering these two, these 2 giveaways this week. So very, very excited. Now to enter, I am going to post at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, Saturday, March 26th, 2 different posts. One will feature the mini iron and one will feature the full-size iron and ironing board cover. All you have to do is comment below on what you'll be ironing and go ahead and follow Oliso Irons. I'll have the link in Illustrator. What am I saying, Illustrator? I'll have the link for Instagram, and I'll have the link for Facebook pages to follow. And then you're entered. And then my lovely social media manager will pick a random winner on Thursday next week. So you have from Saturday, tomorrow, 9 a.m. to Wednesday at midnight Eastern Daylight Savings Time to enter. So you can enter you can enter for both irons, both on my Instagram and on my business Facebook page. So you have 2 chances to win 2 different giveaways this week coming up. So I'm super excited about that. And again, this is all a big thank you to all of you who follow me and sew along or fit along with me. I really, really appreciate it. So yay, I'm super excited. If anybody has any questions about that or the giveaways, please post them and I will help you. I want to see if, I'm going to go to my scene 3 and see if I can add, oops. So if scene 3, if I can add my, let me see if I can add this. All right, there we go. Now you can see me and you can see what I'm doing. So I have everything back and restored here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to show you some things about collars. Because as you know, I'm working with my new shirt jacket pattern, and this shirt jacket can be made out of really any soft draping, or even not so draping. It's an oversized shirt with no bust dart, so really you can make it out of lots of different things. And I have here, this fabric right here is the flannel that I was working with to test my size. So what I want to do is I want to, there's no sound? Are you sure? Can you hear me now? Let me see. Video, audio input, no, audio output. Okay. Oh, all right. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, I'm going to assume you guys can hear me. Okay. All right, I'm sorry. I feel like the past few weeks have been a mess. I'm so happy my husband's not on telling me I need to make my audio louder. I hope everybody can hear me. All right, so what I want to show you guys today is I want to show you 2 different ways to cut out a collar and 2 different ways to interface a collar. I'm just going to make this a little less bright here so you can see. All right, so what I did for my collar pieces is I cut them in half and I added a seam allowance. Okay, so there's a seam allowance here, whereas the original collar was just 1 piece, no center seam. Because if you're working with a stripe or a plaid, and let's say you want to cut those out on the bias to get some interesting, chevron stripe detail, you can cut the collar in half, add a seam allowance, and then cut them out on the bias. So you can see that's what I did here. Let me just show you this part first. So here is 1/2 of my collar, and here's the other half, and you can see when I sew these together, the plaid is going to match, and if it were stripes, that would match as well. So I cut that out halves so I can sew it, and then I just wanted to show you a sort of an easy way to match a plaid. So I cut out my first collar stand right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to match it up with the plaid, right sides together here, And you can see that if you use the collar piece, you can really match it up exactly along every edge. So you get a perfectly matching collar. Okay, so see what I did there? I basically put right sides together the plaid pieces, and if I turn this back a little bit, you can see we're going to be right there, and it's going to match, oops, perfectly. So I'm just fussing with it to make sure it's exactly perfect here. Okay. All right, so I've got that matching. And actually this plaid has a lot going on, so if I can match up all of these little plaid lines, it's very easy to match up almost anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use my scissors to cut this out. Because I'm working with a flannel, the nap on the right side of the flannel kind of acts like a little, what do I want to say? Like it holds it together, it's not sliding around. So I can just cut these out without pinning them. And just as a little reminder, if you're using your scissors to cut, if you slide the blade along your surface and just open the scissors as wide as you can, you get a nice smooth cut. All right, so let's take a look at this now. Okay, so you can see now I've also got a matching plaids for the center of my, let me just zoom that right in so you can see. See how nice and matched up that is? Whoops. Okay, so I've got my matching plaids for my collar and my collar stand. So now what I'm going to do is sew together. Oh, Mary says that's lovely flannel. Thank you. This has been in my stash forever. It's vintage Joanne Fabrics. It's probably, I don't know, 20 years old. So unfortunately I can't share with you where to get it, but it is a really cool fabric. All right, so now I'm going to get my sewing machine over here. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew together those little center back seams, and then I'm just going to show you how to interface the collar pieces. And I have another version that I'm going to share with you as well once we get this one done. All right, so basically now, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my collar and collar stand pieces. I think that's pretty sharp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them right sides together. So here's my collar stand. And these are little short edges, so they should sew together pretty well. I mean, they're so short I'm not even going to pin. And I'm sewing them at a 1/2 inch seam allowance because that's what I added. There's one. Let's get the short edges of the collar itself. Okay. I know Mary says this fabric is soft and feminine. I know, it's so unlike my black, gray, and navy I normally wear. I'm actually kind of excited to finish this and wear it because it's so pretty. All right, let me get my ironing thing back over here. All right, so here's what I want to show you, I am going to, let me make this nice and big now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to press these seam allowances open. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Now the Oliso Iron has a really nice port for putting water in, and unfortunately my iron, let me see if I can just use a little of my, I can't use my tap water because it, I have very hard water, so I'm just going to use some of my bottled water here from my water, fill it up. But you can see it's really easy to fill up because there's a little like guide for the water to go, so it makes it very easy to fill. Then then I can have steam. I don't know if you can see the steam, but this is a really, really nice iron. Okay, so here is my collar. See how nicely that matched up? And then I'm going to press this little seam open as well. Give it a little steam. Steam, steam, steam. Okay. All right, so now I've got my two pieces with the little matching plaids lined up. Now for a collar and collar stand with a, a not super heavy, not a fleece, not sweatshirt fleece, woven fabrics like this, you're going to interface the actual collar or the public side of the collar and collar stand. So I've cut out my interfacing here. This is a fusible interfacing. This one is Palmer and Pletch medium interfacing. And I'm just going to lay it on the wrong side of my collar and collar stand like this. Okay, and then I'm going to, I like to start in the middle. Actually, let me get my collar out of the way here. Okay, so I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to hold the iron down for about 10 seconds. I'm going to lift. Then I'm going to do this end over here. Then I'm going to lift. I'm just going to slide this down and I'm going to do this end. So when you apply fusible interfacing, you don't want to rub. You want to just pat and hold for about, 10 seconds. All right, so you can see now we have this lovely interfaced collar stand, and it just gives it, just a nice amount of structure. Hi, Andrea. You're late but lively. Well, I'm so happy you joined us. Just to let you know, I announced the giveaways for next week, and they are the full-size Oliso Iron with ironing board cover or the mini iron. There's going to be 2 giveaways, so you can start to enter those tomorrow at 9 a.m. on my Instagram and business Facebook page. I want to make nice posts, and I didn't take pictures I liked yet for the posts. That's why I'm going to wait until Saturday morning. I want to make sure I make lovely posts for you to enter with. Okay, so let's do the same thing to the collar now. I've got my interfacing cut out. And I'm just going to lay it glue side down on the wrong side of my collar. And I almost, my hands are very, if you have rough hands, like my dishwasher is broken, so I've been hand washing all my dishes. So my hands are really dry. So I have to double check to make sure I'm putting the glue against um, the wrong side here. Now you might notice I did not cut my interfacing so that it's not in the seam allowances. The interfacing I'm using is so lightweight, it's really going to be fine in the seam allowances. You know, if you're working with a tailor weight, like a super heavyweight interfacing, you might want to consider, you know, cutting it a half an inch narrower and a half an inch not as long on all the edges so it's not in your seam allowance. But if you're working with something lightweight like this medium weight Palmer Pletch, or I'm going to also be using some of Gail Yellen's Denny Fuse in a minute to show you how to interface a fleece collar. You know, these are very lightweight, so they're not going to give you trouble or be too bulky. Okay, so I've got that all nice and interfaced. Does anybody have any interfacing questions or anything they want to ask while I'm here with you live? You know, feel free to pop those in the chat and I'll help you. All right, so you can see there's my lovely matching seam there. Okay, so now my collar and collar stand are interfaced, and I just want to show you what I'm using for the facing pieces is faux ultra suede. So pretend ultra suede. This is a really cool fabric to work with. You can get this at Joann's. It's not expensive, and the coolest part about it is it does not fray. So if you're using it in places where you're going to have a raw edge exposed, like I use it on the button placket, you don't need to turn the edge under. It makes it very easy to work with. So this is going to be my my facing pieces are going to be that. Now what I want to do is show you, I cut out a second set of collar pieces. These are, this is the deluxe fleece from Joann Fabrics. It is really, really nice to work with. It's very substantial in weight. You can clearly see it's got a right and wrong side. The wrong side looks like, I don't want to say bargain basement fleece, but it does. It's got that, you know, sort of fuzzy look to it. The right side has sort of a micro fleece look, and I will tell you, after you wash and dry it, it looks so nice. Like washing and drying it really makes the nap look really pretty. So if you're looking for some really nice fleece, Joann Fabrics Deluxe Luxe Fleece, they call it, is really, really nice to work with. But the thing about fleece is it can melt if you touch it to the iron. So if I want to give my collar and collar stand some support, I'm not going to interface these pieces because I probably would melt them. So instead, I'm going to interface my facing pieces. So I've got my, here, I'm just going to use this one. Oh, I didn't cut the interface. I didn't cut the. These pieces are for my my fleece. I didn't cut out the ones for my flannel yet. I'm going to try to find something that's not so black to work with this fabric. So basically now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to. Oh no, I'm a liar. I have them over here. I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, here they are. Sorry. I did cut them out, but I am going to try to find something that matches a little bit better. After I cut it out, I thought the black and the plaid would be too different. Okay, so, all right, so this is, you can see how fine this is. This is Denny Fuse from Gail Patrice Design. It's very, very fine. It's very fine, but it's perfect for this because the fleece really doesn't need a lot of, it doesn't need a lot of structure. I'm going to lower my setting to the wool silk setting because this interfacing is a little bit more fragile. It doesn't need as hot of an iron. So again, I'm going to start in the middle And I'm just going to pat that for about 10 seconds. Then I'm going to lift and go to the end. And then I'm going to slide it over and just fuse this. So I'm fusing black Denny fuse to the faux suede here. And it's just going to give it a little bit of, you know, it just gives it a little bit of substantial, you know, support. All right, let's see what Mary's saying. Mary is saying, oh, Lux Fleece is the only fleece I purchase at Joann's. Yep, Mary, I agree. The other two fleeces are not lovely. I'm spoiled because back in the day when Malden Mills was open, they had a retail store. Malden Mills makes the most amazing fleece, and I think they still have an online store, but I'm very spoiled because we would drive up to Massachusetts to get our fleece from Malden Mills when that store was open. So that's why I am a little bit of a fleece snob, but the Lux fleece is very nice. The one thing about the Lux fleece though is, unlike other kinds of fleece, you really can't leave the edges raw because they will kind of get funky. So you have to finish all the edges one way or the other, either hemming them or binding them off with something, because the raw edges are not fabulous on that fleece. All right, so now I'm going to just fuse this last piece, and then what I'll do is I'll just show you quickly how I go about sewing together a collar. If anybody watching is really new to shirt construction and they feel intimidated by it, I am teaching a class with Twins and Needles on April 19th and 26th. It's a Zoom class, and it's going to be using my new shirt jacket pattern to construct a shirt. So this is a great opportunity if you're new to shirt construction, because it's not a fussy pattern. There's no bust dart. We're going to do some simple fitting to get the length of all the pieces to be a comfortable length for you, and also we probably will play with the shoulder seam a little bit to make it the right length for you. And then I'm going to show you how to construct all the pieces of a button-down shirt. So we're going to do collar, collar stand, sleeve with a continuous placket and cuff, like a dress shirt, a button placket, and then the hemming. So that's going to be a really fun class. So if anybody wants to join me, I'm going to put a link to that class in the video description below when I get off. Okay, so there is my lovely under collar, or collar facing, and then I have my fleece collar here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you quickly how to sew these pieces together. And I mean, the steps to sewing them together, oh, wait a minute, let's see here. Oh, Rosalind is asking, what items do you make with Lux Fleece? Well, I made a shirt jacket for my husband out of it. And actually, these are the scraps from the leftover project. Let me just see if I can find a quick photo. Like, see, here's a close-up of the collar, the finished collar and collar stand. I also have made, I made myself fleece ankle warmers that are off the hook, super comfortable in the cold weather. And honestly, I didn't finish the top and bottom edges of those, but I don't care if they get funky because I'm really just using them to tuck into my sneakers. I've also made fleece hats, and I made my mom a fleece, I made my mom a fleece bathrobe last winter, but it was too warm for her, so I think she's worn it a total of like one time. I might actually take that back and cut it up and make it into other things. But it really is nice. It's heavy duty, and it's very, very nice. Okay, so let me just stick this over here. So, like, let's look at the anatomy of. Oh, Mary says she made pullover for winter top for hubby and a couple jackets for her. Yeah, it is really nice for winter things. Okay, so we're going to look at these two things, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put them together like they're already sewn. So there's my collar and collar stand, and I mean my collar, and here's my collar and stand. I'm going to put these right sides together, because the first thing that always happens when I'm sewing a collar with a collar stand is I'm always wondering or trying to remind myself how it goes together. So the collar stand itself is the fleece is on the outside, the facing's on the inside, and on the collar is top down. It faces, the public side. It's on the top, and this is underneath. So the way this really gets sewn together, you want to make sure that your facing or under collar is going to be joined to the fleece of the collar stand, so when it's sewn together and folded down, it matches like that. Okay, so that's the one thing you have to keep track of when you're sewing a collar and a collar stand together. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to sew my collar together, and let me just grab my well, actually maybe what we should do is pin it. I'm going to use Wonder Clips because I love my Wonder Clips. Now I'm working with fleece, so the right side of the fleece and the right side of the ultra suede are going to match, and I'm just going to match up the ends. Hi Francine, welcome. And Rosalind says, I'm new to sewing and my daughter got some pajamas, but I don't think it's made for PGs. Oh, you got some for pajamas. Okay, so if you know someone who is freezing cold all the time, I do know people who wear fleece pajamas, but it has to be a situation where you're always freezing, because if I put fleece pajamas on, I would die of heat prostration. It would just be a disaster for me. But I do know women who wear full-on fleece pajamas. So if you're always cold, you can do it. Okay, so I'm just going to pin my ends. Okay, now notice when you sew a collar, you're sewing, you are sewing the short end around the top longer end, and you're leaving this bottom end, so the lower end you're leaving open. Okay, so you don't sew the lower end, you just sew up the short end, across the top, and back down the other side. And then the collar, oops, and then after we do this, I'll show you how to join it with the collar stand. So I am going to, I think it would make nice hats and mittens. All right, so I'm just going to sew this using a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. I love my Janome 67P because when I'm using this foot, the side of my presser foot is a 1/2 inch, so it makes it very easy. So I don't want to have to worry about pivoting at the corner, because sometimes that can get a little crazy, and I don't want to like hurt myself trying to get exactly you know, pivot at the exact right spot. So when I do my collars, I just stitched right off the end. And then when I start this side, I'm going to start at the 1/2 inch here. And then when I get to the intersecting seam, I'm just going to back tack there across the intersecting seam so it sort of locks that off. I'm putting the fleece against the feed dogs because it has a little bit of give to it. So I want the feed dogs to feed the fleece into my non-stretch faux suede. Again, I'm going to sew right off the end, and then I'm going to start here. And again, when I get to the intersection, I'm going to back tack to secure the point. Okay. All right, so now I have my collar sewn. Oh, Sally says that's a great tip to do corners. Yeah, I got tired of trying to figure out how to pivot at just the right moment on a tight angle like that, and I just realized I could just accurately get it like that. So now what I'm going to do is on fleece, especially because this is really heavy now, I'm going to literally chop this off. So it's probably a 1/16 of an inch away from, let me do with my bigger scissors, from the point. And then I'm just going to trim both things. I'm just going to make these short, like 1/8 of an inch. I'm not going to be fussy with this because it's a fleece collar. Okay, so I'm just going to make these 1/8. Oops. And then I'm just gonna trim this down to 1/8. Or you can do 1/4 on the long edge if you want. Okay, almost done. Okay, so with all of that trimmed, then I can turn it to the right side. And I'm going to use like a little chopstick to get in there and create a nice point. And I'm going to go on the other side and do the same thing. You don't want to poke it too hard though, because you'll end up with like a little nipple. So you really want to just gently coax it into, you know, a reasonably sharp point. When you're working with something like fleece, you have to remember that it is bulky even if you trim. So like for me, you know, that's a happy shape. You know, I'm not going to get a super crisp shape. And we do have to give it a little steam, but now remember we're treading lightly here because I don't want to melt my fleece. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just give it some steam, and as I press I want to be able to see that my and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat, And I'm going to spray it. I have a water bottle that I use. I'm just spraying the whole collar so I can really dampen it, because I don't want to have to press super hard here. But basically what I want to do is I want to create a situation where I'm pressing the under collar so that the fleece kind of rolls around and shows on that underside. And I think you can see what I'm doing from here. All right, so Linda Lee is asking me if this is going to make me too warm. I'm prepping this collar for next winter. So I don't wear a winter coat. I don't have a single winter coat that I wear. But if it's cold, I would put on a fleece shirt jacket like this. Okay, so see how nice that looks now? Now that I gave it that little press. Now see, look at the difference between these 2 points. See how this one looks like a little nipple and this one looks like a nice point? This one I pushed in a little bit too hard. So I'm just going to try pushing it back a little bit and sort of seeing if I can reshape it with my finger to make it less nipply. There, I think that'll be better. I'll just give it a little steam. See, I think that looks better than having it be like, you know, looking like I like really pushed it out. All right, so the next step is going to be, I'm going to edge stitch around my collar. And it's really easier to do this if you do this before you sew it to the collar stand. So just to prep it, I'm going to move my needle over. Oops. So it's about 1/4 inch. And basically now I'm encasing the, I'm encasing that short little seam allowance that I trimmed in my stitching. So I'm going to stop when I'm approximately 1/4 inch away from that top edge. I'm going to take 1 stitch in the 45-degree angle, then I'm going to turn it all the way around like that. So again, when I get to this end, I'm going to hand walk it. I'm going to do a 145-degree stitch, and then I'm whizzing it around to sew the short side. All right, so see, that's what our collar looks like now. Okay, and these, like I said, this is going to be very warm. This is going to be something I'm going to wear next year. I'm not going to be wearing that this year. So our collar is finished. This is the collar I'm going to be, this is the one I'm going to be making for myself to wear now, this very lightweight flannel. So this is what I will be wearing now. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to do right sides together with my my collar stand and collar stand facing. And again, I'm just gonna, here's my Wonder Clips. Oh, hold on. All right, so to sew this on, we have to, let me find the center of the collar, hold on. So this is where it matters that we know what's what here, because I found the center of my collar stand right here, and then I found the center of my collar. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have to match these up together. Now remember I said the facing of the collar or the under collar needs to be right sides together with the collar stand. So I'm going to put the facing side face down like this, and notice it's centered here. Okay, so now I can just remove those. Then I can put my collar stand sandwiching them together. So the first places I'm going to clip are at the ends of the collar and collar stand. Then I'm just going to pin my collar stands together. You don't want to make sure you're not catching the tip of the collar in the end of the stand. So just make sure that that's right. And then over here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pin my collar like this, and then I'm going to pin the ends of my stand like this, and then I'll just put an extra couple of pins. I want to make sure this is all laying nice and smooth here. And you need to get all these layers to match. So all of the collar, collar stand, all the pieces need to be aligned along this top edge. For some reason. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, my fleece, I'm just going to trim this to match. My fleece is a little bit longer than my thing here. Okay, I think, is that too long on this side too? No, that fixed it. Alright. Alright, so I just want to make sure everything is matching up. Okay, so I'm just checking to make sure that the collar is square on there by where it ends here. So when I sew it on, everything will look nice and even and straight and centered. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to sew this together. And again, I'm going to have my fleece face down. Hold on 1 second here. My ends are a little uneven. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trimming my ends to be even. I think I forgot to, well, I don't know how that happened. I'm not even going to say how that happened. I'm just a little uneven, but I straightened everything out. Let's make sure this is all nice and even now. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start over here. And again, we're working with a 1/2 inch again, so I'm going to put my needle back in the center needle position. All right, so sew this. Oh my God, I think I made a mess of this collar. I'm going to be completely honest with you. All right, something. Okay. All right, hold on. All right, something happened. Let me just see. This is real life live TV here. Something happened when let me just see what happened. I think I screwed something up when I pinned these together. All right, so let me center this back on here. All right, so that is centered. And then let me put this back. Oh. Yeah, I'm really not sure what happened. Let me just pin this together. It is right. I think I shifted. Something got funked up when I started sewing. Let me just... I don't think I put enough pins to hold all the layers because it is matching. That's weird. Just put a few more pins in here to make sure it stays put. All right. So the fleece has give and my interfaced faux suede does not, and I think that's what's causing the agita here. Let me just line all that up. All right, I'm sorry. I'm just going to trim this a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, let's try this again. Oops. Okay. All right, so let me just finish sewing this. I was coming around the corner here. Okay, here we go. All right, so this collar is not agreeing with me. I'm just gonna do that for now. All right. Oh, Linda Lee says, oh, Julie had to leave. And Linda says, stay stitching. Honestly, I did not have trouble stitching my other collar, so I don't really understand why I was having trouble. I think sometimes when I get on live, things happen. So basically, you can see here, okay, so this is the inside of my collar. Oh, hi Diane, welcome. Okay, so see how that looks. And you can see we have it on right, because when it's around your neck, you want the collar facing or under collar to be against the fleece, so it folds down like this. And then on the inside, you want the ultra suede to be on the inside of your neck. So that's how you construct a collar. And you know, maybe try stay stitching I've never stay stitched a collar, but that might be a good tip. So we're going to give Linda Lee a gold star. Oh, Mary said I would start over and make another under collar. Well, if this fits my neckline, I'm just going to go with it, because in the end it worked out looking fine. See? So it may be that this will be working out fine. I will check this one. Again, I'm not super worried about this particular collar because I'm not going to be making this until much later, probably in the fall for next winter. But I just wanted to show you guys how the pieces go together, especially if you're new making shirts with collars, because you have to remember to interface, you have to remember to put the collar, you know, the under collar right sides together with the public side of the collar stand, and then the public side of the collar is together with the inside or the neck edge of the collar stand. So that's really was my goal today, was to show you this and to announce the giveaways for next week. So Diane, if you missed that part, I'll just say it one more time. Oh, and also when I get this together with my finished shirt, I will post pictures of that. And actually, I'm teaching a class tomorrow for the Contra Costa ASG, which used to be the Walnut Creek chapter, and I'm teaching embroidered buttonholes. So before class tomorrow, I will have this shirt all sewn together, because I'm going to show them how to put buttonholes on an actual shirt front. So that'll give me a shirt front to demo how to do embroidered buttonholes. So as soon as I finish this shirt, I will post pictures of it in the group, and I'll share it with everybody so you can see. But I'm going to basically be doing the same thing with, you know, with this collar when I get off later. I'm going to try to find something that's not black to face it with. All right, so just a reminder, or if anybody came late, Mini Project Iron is giveaway number 1 for next week, and full-size Oliso Iron and ironing board cover is giveaway 2 for next week. I'm going to be posting the posts to enter on at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So you'll have from Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time till Wednesday midnight Eastern Daylight Savings Time next week. I'll announce the winner of these irons next Thursday. So that's our 3rd week of giveaways. Oh, Andrea is going to be in. Are you coming to the embroidered buttonhole class, Andrea? That'll be really exciting to see you there. It's one of my favorite classes, and honestly, since I've started doing embroidered buttonholes in the hoop, I haven't stitched a single one on my sewing machine, because it's so much easier to do them in the hoop. So super excited about that. And just one reminder, or one programming note for next week. Tuesday, I'm going to do a part 2 of how to get the bust dart in the right place, because I was talking with the subscriber who asked me the question about getting it in the right space, and I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more and talk about cup size and making sure you have enough cup room and getting it in the right spot, because both those things need to be true. You have to have the right size cup shape, meaning you might need a full bust adjustment, and I'm going to explain why doing a full bust adjustment is different than just lengthening the whole front. So that's going to be for Fit Tip Tuesday. And then on Friday next week, I'm going to announce the grand prize, and I want to tell you it's going to be a very exciting grand prize. It's a collection of things, and I'm super excited about the grand prize. So that's my programming note for next week. If anybody has any questions about making a collar, please post those and I will help you. If anybody's interested in doing a shirt class with me, I will post that below as well when I get off. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me this afternoon. I will see Andrea tomorrow in embroidered buttonhole class. That's going to be later in the day. I think it's at 1 o'clock Pacific time, so it's 4 o'clock my time. So I'll be sewing my shirt all day tomorrow to get it ready. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed FabFit Friday today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very soon. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.